where are they going?
20 bound.
20 bound?
11-year-old Jake Lamoureux was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, when he was 7. Recently, the American Psychiatric Association proposed new criteria for the definition of autism. Changes that could be devastating for children such as Jake, who under the new proposed guidelines wouldn't have been diagnosed with ASD because the symptoms aren't socially prevalent.
They call it Tigger and Eeyore. He holds it together at school. He's Eeyore, very placid, complacent, but as soon as he gets home, wah, because that's when he's able to, and so he deregulates. And it's hard to show a professional in a clinician or a clinical type setting that this is how he acts. And so without the label, no, we wouldn't have got half the support we're getting now.
In order for a child to be diagnosed with autism, 3 key areas need to be looked at. These include communication deficits, social cues, and having repetitive or limited interests.
These criteria might eliminate some people, especially people at the higher end of autism. So those are the people who are verbal, who are quite bright, who have probably social misunderstandings or communication things that aren't as clear, but they're not as evident to other people.
While Barrett is doubtful funding for those already diagnosed would be stopped or reduced, the concern is for those children and families still looking for answers.
That would be very devastating for families because they go a long time wondering, something's wrong, not quite sure what's wrong, and then finally they figure out that it's probably Asperger's syndrome, which is part of the autism spectrum, and they get a label, and then they can get help. Without a label, they don't have a diagnosis, they don't get help.
Lamoureux believes just as important as funding is the access to educational resources.
As important as the funding is the knowledge. Without without parents understanding what this is and having their child diagnosed as this, they won't have resources available to them to research. And so they won't understand what's happening with their child. And that, I think, is going to be even more detrimental because the funding might be pulled now from that child, but we're going to need it when he's 21 and 22.
And Lamoureux worries about those kids not diagnosed with autism.
My fear is that if you take away a lot of these kids' labels as they start hitting Jake's age, we're going to have a huge problem with these kids as they become young adults. And for a kid like Jake, I'm good now. If they take his label away, I've got all the information I need. I can help him for the rest of the way, but it's the ones coming in from behind him. So either way, we're going to pay for these kids. So let's pay for them now so that they're functioning adults having fairly functioning lives.
Since Jake has been able to get the help he needs, he has fewer anxiety disorders, he's adapting better to life, and he interacts better with people. Tammy Karachik, Shaw TV, Capital Region.